Hey, this is Craig the Pool Man with Pool Specialist. Today we have a short video for you on how to sync the Jandy watercolor lights. Jandy makes a pool light, as you can see here. They make a spa light, which is a bit smaller, and then on the right they make a nicheless light. And all these lights are compatible with each other. They all have the same coloring, and this is to tell you how to sync them. So if they get out of sync, as you can see right here, we have one that's blue and we have one that's green. In order to sync them, you would put them back to what's called alpine white. And to do that manually, you would shut the light off for roughly 5 seconds. It has to be more than 3 and it has to be less than 7. So we're going to turn it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we go to white. So now once that light's on, if we want to change the color, then we're going to turn it off for less than 3 seconds and turn it on, and we go to blue. And if we do it again, we go to cobalt blue, Caribbean blue, which is my favorite, spring green, emerald green, emerald rose, magenta, violet, slow color splash, fast color splash, America the Beautiful, Fat Tuesday, and then finally discotheque. And Jandy has a really nice laminated card that comes with the light that tells you the Dick Tracy decoder ring of how to send the Morse code down to the lights. So we're going to turn these and we're going to reset them to alpine white again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're at alpine white. We'll put them at sky blue. And now what happens is, if you actually want to keep that color, when you turn it off and then back on, it will keep that color. However, you have to turn it off for more than 7 seconds. Otherwise, it's going to think it's either going to go to alpine white if it's more than 3 seconds, and if it's less than 3 seconds, it's going to switch to a different color. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we turn them on and we get to the same color. Now we're going to show you how to do that also in the IAqualink controller. We are not going to show you how to do it in the WaterColor standalone controller or the TCX. You are going to need to log into your IAqualink account. You could do this from an old one-touch, either wall-mounted remote or a portable remote, or even the PDA. However, my recommendation is you take those and you put them next to your VCR, your 8-track tapes, your cassette tapes, all those wonderful items from the 80s that you so much cherish, and come into this millennium and go out and buy an IAqualink upgrade. It's been around for quite a few years. It's phenomenal. It's the best system out on the market. It's very user friendly, and of course you can see that it has a much better user interface than the old type of one touch, which is like programming a VCR. So you're going to come in here to this display. If you have opened this up on your phone, what you need to do is press the little web button in your upper right hand corner. You're going to rotate your screen to landscape mode, and it should look just like this. First thing we're going to do is come into menu, and you're going to come into system setup. If you look at the auxiliaries, we have auxiliary 4 assigned to pool lights. we don't have to save this, but if you were to change something, do make sure you hit that save button because it'll really mess things up if you don't. Hit your back button, and then we're going to go to color lights. And this is the beauty of a Jandy system. Jandy supports everybody, not only just for lights, but for the variable speed pumps as well. So this is a really good universal control system. Regardless of what type of equipment you have on your pool, you can install this and automate it and make everything work and have it all work together. So we have Jandy LED watercolor lights. We're going to go ahead and click on this, and of course it is the pool light that we want to make, and then you'll see it puts a little JL next to it. So we're going to save that, and now we're going to hit the back button, hit it once again, and then the pool lights are off in other devices. So we're going to click on turn them on, and then it wants you to pick a color. You need to pick Alpine White because that is what they use for syncing all the lights. So it will then sync all those lights, and now you will see they are on and the lights are synced. If you then want to change it again, you can go ahead and hit that on button, hit the OK, and now pick whatever you like. I particularly like the Caribbean blue, and it will cycle to that. And it will choose the Caribbean blue color. It takes a little while because it's sending the Morse code down to the lights. And there you can see the light is on. So that's the extent of this. Jandy also makes an inexpensive controller that you can hook up, and that is something that we don't cover in this particular video. However, if you are interested in it, I would simply go to the Jandy website and look up the controllers for the watercolor lights. Okay, so a lot of problems with the lights losing sync is because there's insufficient voltage. So I tend to like the Pentair transformer because it is designed specifically for their lights. And it has 3 outputs. It has a 12 volt output, a 13 volt output, and a 14 volt output. And even though these lights are quote unquote 12 volts, they can handle the higher voltage output. So my recommendation is to always use the 14 volt. And what you need to know is that you've got to cap off the 12 volt and the 13 volt. And there is a wiring diagram that we're going to show you right here on how to wire this up. And so you want to make sure that you've got it wired to the 14 volts. And also, when you're talking about low voltage, the lower the voltage, the higher the current. And so if you only have a couple lights, you could get away with 12 gauge stranded wire. If you want to start talking about more than that, then you're going to want to go up to a 10 gauge marine stranded wire, because the more strands, the more current. And you want the least amount of voltage drop across it, because if you get down to below 12 volts at the light, they tend not to sync correctly because they don't have enough voltage, and you will also shorten the life of the light significantly. So always wire this to 14 volts. Now, Intermatic makes a transformer. They make a 300, I believe it's called a PX300, which also has a 14 volt output as this transformer does. And that transformer will work fine provided that you wire it up to the 14 volts. But you are going to get a voltage drop across the wire that you're using that goes out to your light box and then the actual wire that's going to the light. Because think about it, that wire in many cases is 100 feet long. So be aware of this. Most lights now that are being installed in the pools are all 12 volts. If you've got somebody who's doing 120 volts, they're stuck in the past decades, and you maybe want to see if they want your VCR tapes or 8-track tapes to use in their equipment at home. So everything should be 12 volts. It's a lot safer. You can change the 120 volts to 12 volts, but you would have to put in one of these transformers. So that's the explanation. Get a good transformer and it will put out enough voltage so the lights sync. I hope you found this video educational. If you did, please drop us a like, follow us. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.